Honorable Mwai Kibaki, Your Excellencies, heads of diplomatic missions and international organizations, senior civil servants here present. I was a civil servant for 24 years before becoming a politician, so I shouldn't forget you. I retired as a cabinet secretary. Chief Executive Officer and President, Chief Executive Officer of Equity Bank and President of the Equity Foundation, Dr. Mwangi, Managing Director of the Equity Foundation, Dr. Gichohi, President and Chief Executive Officer of the MasterCard Foundation, Dr. Rita Roy, all important visitors here present. I am humbled to have been enabled to be able to say a few remarks to you, because what needed to be said, most of it has been said. But I think I have 4 brief points that I want to make. One is, Your Excellency, why am I here? One of the reasons why I am here, and I'm delighted to be here, is the fact that this is a culmination of your policies. When you came to power, you made primary education free and compulsory. That made it possible for the MasterCard Foundation and the Equity Foundations to be able to select the number of primary school graduates from poor countries, poor families rather. Had it not been that policy of yours, it would not have been possible to select the number of brilliant students here from poor families. The MasterCard Foundation does not want to favor Kenya. Why is it more operational here? It is because in Kenya, we have found that you are organized, that the Equity Foundation, the leaders of the Equity Bank and Equity Foundation, have organized an arrangement whereby communities are able to choose and witness for genuinely poor students who are brilliant. There are many poor students in all sub-Saharan African countries, but what is lacking is the arrangement whereby an indigenous organization like Equity Bank and Equity Foundation is able to work with communities and thereby be able to select brilliant but genuinely poor students. This is a very important thing. As I say, you are about to retire and you are launching these kids into a career, into higher education. There cannot be better empowerment than education. And you say, have been part of the generation of the last 50 years that built Africa, and in your case, this country. And you, as you are retiring, you are launching members of the Kenyan society who will be responsible for the development of Kenya in the next 50 years. I mention this fact because the African Development Bank, the Economic Commission for Africa, and the African Union held a conference 2 weeks ago to discuss the fact that this year the OAU-AU is going to celebrate 50 years of its existence. And they asked the question, where is Africa going in the next 50 years? And everybody is preoccupied with the questions of governance and quality of leadership. That's why I want to pay tribute to you, sir, that this is one of your achievements, representing foresight, whereby on coming to power, on assuming presidential power, you made primary education free and compulsory, thereby enabling these students whom we see here from poor backgrounds like mine to have been selected to benefit from these scholarships which they have just received. The second reason why I'm here is, of course, that I'm a member of the board of the MasterCard Foundation. And that's why I'm able to say that the MasterCard Foundation is looking for similar organizations to Equity Foundation, and they are not easy to find in our continent. And therefore, I am proud to be associated with the partnership of MasterCard and Equity Foundations for their achievement here. And before I forget, I'm a member of another organization called CODA. In fact, I'm a chairperson of that organization called CODA, which stands for Coalition for a Dialogue on Africa. And it's funded to the tune of 49% by the African Union, the UN Economic Commission for Africa, and African Development Bank, and 51% by the African private sector. And that is why, sir, what is happening here today and has been happening for the last 3 years, as a Pan-Africanist, I am very interested in it, because what one African leader can do, others ought to be able to do, such as the freeing of primary education in your country. The other reason why I am here is, of course, to congratulate the leadership of Equity Bank and Equity Foundation and its partners who have been enumerated by Dr. Mwangi. I have told my colleague Rita Roy that if it was in my power, I would clone Dr. Mungai, Dr. Mwangi. To clone is to produce a copy of a person. I would clone him and distribute him in the rest of Africa. For his originality of vision, his strength of will, his courage of his convictions. And I am humbled to be here to bask in the light and glory of what you in Kenya are achieving. The last reason, of course, as I said, that I should mention here, it's simply to congratulate your parents and guardians, you the students, and tell you that when I look at you, I see myself. I almost wanted to call you colleagues, but you would say, you old men, you don't even have a hair. How can you say we are your colleagues? The point is that I come exactly from where you have come. Many, many stories that I have been told in the last 2 years that I have been associated with the MasterCard Foundation ring a bell in my memory. And I'm here to congratulate you because you are already achievers. You have scored very well and you have succeeded in being selected. All I want to say to you is that keep it up. Persist and persevere. Work hard. Continue to work hard in spite of all discouragements, because you can achieve a lot. I was not only president of Botswana. As I say, I was a civil servant. I've been an executive director of the International Monetary Fund. I've been governor of the Bank of Botswana. I've been secretary to cabinet in my country. And each one of you can achieve that. If I have done it, you can do it, because we come from exactly the same background. And I am delighted. I am so grateful to the people who have made it possible for you to be selected and sent to secondary schools, because that's how I benefited. I went to secondary school because, like you, I received a bursary. I went to university because, like you, as I hope you will continue to have assistance, scholarships, to be able to realize your dreams. That's my humble message, to say, look at me. Very important people here are calling me Your Excellency, and so on. Both here in Kenya, in Nigeria, in my own country, everywhere. But I come from exactly the same background as yourselves. And that's the short message, but important message that I want to say to you. I thank you very much.